Hey guys, welcome to Minecraft. It is Tuesday and I have finished securing the land. There is a pig in my minecart, so I'm just going to send him on a little ride. Bye bye, piggy. Have a nice ride. I don't know why I just sent that cart away, but whatever. So we're going to switch over to creative here and I'm going to go show you what all I've done. Oh shit, it bounced back. Damn animals are spawning inside my track fence thing. Alright, whatever though. Here we go. So I finished going through all of this, and I've secured the ground. See, I just finished. It's not even grass yet. I wanted to show you guys this and set up the perimeter of the foundation of the castle that I'm going to build. Look how green this grass is compared to this grass. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's... I don't think there's swamp over here. Whatever, that's beautiful green, and that's kind of just a dark green. So let's go back over here and I'll get some cobblestone and we'll set up the foundations. But I wanted to talk. I've been reading The Hunger Games and I am now on Catching Fire, which is the second book. And I gotta say, these books are they're phenomenal. I have no trouble in seeing why people made it the #1 movie in America for like a month straight, because the idea of what it stands for is just amazing to me, and I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. Because I have tunneling explosives. I use the tunneling explosives to help clear out the land a little bit. I meant to tell you guys that right off the bat, but I forgot. I just spawned some in just so I could. It was faster than digging, and I was using all my diamonds to do it. So I hope you guys aren't pissed off at me. But so let me go over a little bit, and I'm gonna say right now, spoiler: if you don't want to know what the Hunger Games is, if you're planning on going to see the movie, or if you're planning, anything at all as far as the Hunger Games go, whether you're planning on reading it or whatever, then you might not want to watch this commentary or listen to this commentary, I should say, until you have done so. Because I'm going to talk about the books and what they represent in my mind, anyway. And I'm going to start off with telling what the Hunger Games is. Now, okay, according to the book, like this takes place in the future. It takes place after America and basically every other world government has fallen. Okay, so it takes place in the future or whatnot, and basically what it is there's a capital, and there are 13 districts and in the beginning, I guess after the world comes together or whatever, or not the world, but once these groups come together, they form the capital and 13 districts. The capital is the technologically advanced superior overlords, I guess, like the government basically. And the districts each represent a different like workspace. So like one district makes like harvest stuff, like bread. Well, they don't harvest bread. That's fucking stupid. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They 3, 1, 2. That should be 3. Like one district does grain, one district does coal, one district does so forth and so on. One district makes like jewelry and beautiful things for the capital and stuff like that. So you get the idea. Each district has their own little niche or whatever they're supposed to do. They have their jobs or whatnot. And basically, at some point, the districts rose up against the capital in rebellion, and the capital not only defeated them, but they actually annihilated District 13, like altogether. District 13 is gone. It no longer exists because the capital completely destroyed it, basically to show, look at what we can do. So if you oppose us, this will happen to you as well, kind of thing. 1, 2, okay. And basically after that they created the Hunger Games, which is all children from ages 12 to 18, I believe it was, they have their name put in, and whoever gets chosen basically each district, there's a boy tribute and a girl tribute. And then they have to go and they have to fight in a huge arena, which is basically, from my understanding, it's like a huge area, like if you cordoned off like a third of, like, say, Utah, and you put a wall around it, and you made it into some sort of arena to where people could fight. That's what the Hunger Games are, and they throw all these kids in, and you're not supposed to train the children for the Hunger Games. They're supposed to go into it basically with just the skills they have, but some districts actually do train their tributes or whatever, even though they're not supposed to. And basically, it's the way of the Capitol goes, look at what we can do. We can take your children away. We can make them murder each other, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you stand up to us in rebellion, then imagine what we'll do to you next time you try to fuck with us. And basically, that's where the Hunger Games, the movie, starts, is that they call out the main character. They call out her little sister, who's 12. They call out her name, and the main character volunteers to take her sister's place, because her sister's only 12 years old. First year that she's in what they call the reaping. And this girl, the main character, Katniss, she actually, she has some skills. She hunts and stuff like that, which is illegal as well. But I don't want to get into the actual, like, storyline so much as I want to talk about what it represents. And basically, she goes off to fight in the Hunger Games or whatever against 24 other kids or whatever. Basically all age 12 to 18. But this is what it gets me is that the government not only makes these districts, do the Hunger Games and to put their children's names in this pot or whatever, but they also make them celebrate it like it's Christmas or something. They make them, and if you don't, they can literally just come up to you and, like, shoot you in the face, like, if you don't celebrate the Hunger Games or the festivities afterwards or whatever. And basically, I was sitting here thinking about it, while I was digging and everything, because, like I said, I'm reading Catching Fire, and in Catching Fire, they go on the victory tour. Basically, her and the boy who won from her district. Which, you gotta read the book. I don't want to get into the storyline about it, but they go on a victory tour, and basically, I mean, they're being forced to act like they're in love and all this other stuff, and it's all part of the storyline. And I highly recommend that you either read it or go see the movie, because it's an amazing story. But what I wanted to talk about was government, and in this book, this basically what it seems like to me is that it's she's the Suzanne Collins, the author, is talking about how dangerous government can be. And I mean, this goes back to Jefferson. This isn't like new to her. It's not like this is a concept that she just thought of and that no one else has ever thought about. Thomas Jefferson said that we have a not only do you have a responsibility, or not only do you have the right to question government, but you have the responsibility to question government. Because if government becomes too strong, then, I think the saying is that a government big enough to give you everything you want is also big enough to take away everything you have. Oh shit, I'm still in creative, my bad. And this is basically what the story represents to me, is the fact that we can't ever let this kind of thing happen. I mean, people are like, oh, it's just a movie, or it's just a book, it's fiction. And by acting that way, and by kind of discrediting the fact that our government could do something like that, that basically makes it to where our government can do something like that, because we become so complacent and we're like, oh, the government can't do anything like that. That's ridiculous to even think that our government could ever turn into something like that. But it could very easily turn into something like that. All it takes is, the only thing it takes for bad men to do bad things is for good men to stand by and do nothing. That's not the saying at all. I completely fucked that up. But that is the the basic, in my own words kind of thing, the saying. All it takes is for good people to stand by and do nothing for bad people to do bad things. And I don't want to be an activist, and I don't want to sit here and like preach to you about the dangers of government. But I mean, when you stop and think about it, like people would consider me a conspiracy theorist, and they would discredit me because I'm sitting here talking about how big government can destroy and take away everything in your life, and that's what the government wants. That's what they've been building on for years, is to make people that say things like this, like, oh, they're crazy. Don't listen to them. They're insane. They're just conspiracy theorists, and what they say isn't true at all. And basically, when it happens, the only people that are going to not be surprised are the conspiracy theorists, because they're the ones that have been saying it all along. And everyone who's said, oh, they're just crazy or whatever, they're going to be shocked what government can do to them. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen in our lifetime or even in my children's lifetime, but eventually the government, the U.S. government, all governments will eventually fall. I mean, the United States of America is not going to last forever. Britain's not going to last forever. And eventually they're going to fall. You see it all the time on the news. I mean, these third world countries, like with the Arab Spring uprising, basically, that shows you right there, governments can be toppled. And eventually it'll happen. Eventually our government will become too big, and they'll push too hard, and we will push back as a people. And all I'm saying is just don't blindly follow everything that the government tells you, because that leads to the Hunger Games. And that sounds dumb, I know, and it sounds like very outlandish, but it's a metaphor for what government can do. If you just sit back and just let them do whatever they want, then it can lead to things like that. It can lead to horrible, horrible things. And I'm not sitting here going, everyone grab your gun and let's go fucking start a rebellion. But I'm sitting here saying that right now, the way our government is, we still have a chance for our voices to be heard. Now, does that matter in the long run? Probably not, because, I mean, there's, voting to me, in my mind, seems ridiculous. It doesn't seem like it matters, because I feel like whoever's going to be the next president, it's already been chosen. Our votes don't count for anything. This is my conspiracy theory right here, as far as, being kind of outlandish and conspiracy theories go. I believe that, the country, that the world, not just the country, but the world is run by, elite, rich people, men probably, and they control everything that happens in the world, economy, government, and everything. And I mean, you can look at, there's I forget what it's called, but there's a conference that happens once a year where the world's most powerful men come together to discuss things, and a lot of people believe that they go to discuss what's going to happen with, the economy, with money, with leadership in different governments and things like that. And everyone says, oh, the U.S. government, another saying is, it's too big to fail. No, the bigger it gets, the easier it will be to fail. Because the bigger it gets, the more angry it will make people at its decisions that it makes without their knowledge and stuff like that. Like, we don't get to vote on declarations of war. We didn't get to vote on the Iraq war. We didn't get to vote whether or not we go to war or whatever. And I mean, there's men that are better equipped to make those decisions than, say, me, because I mean, I don't know the secretive stuff that that the spies and all that stuff of our countries know, but there's a lot of decisions, when you stop and think about it, that the government makes without our consent or our approval. I mean, laws are passed, and we don't really get to, we don't get to vote on those, in the long run. I mean, we might get to vote on bills and stuff, but I mean, they sneak bills in, or they sneak like little laws and stuff into bills, and then they pass, and then, we're screwed. We got to deal with whatever they snuck in. And that shit happens all the time. That happens a lot more often than you would think. But I don't even know where I'm going with this. It drives me crazy because I see that our government is becoming too big. They're being too intrusive in our lives, and it's like, I can understand taxes. I don't agree with them, but I can understand them. I can understand, us paying for, public utilities and stuff like that, but we're not only paying for that sort of thing, I can understand paying for prisoners to a point. Okay, I don't think that people like, say, Charles Manson or serial killers, the kind of guys that they're not going to be rehabilitated. So why are we keeping them in prison? Why don't we just, put them to death? And that's a dangerous idea as well. So don't get me wrong on that. That's a dangerous idea because that could turn from, executing people for, being like a serial killer. Like, if you committed over a certain amount of murders, then it's automatic death sentence, but that could easily turn into, if you steal bread to feed your family, you can be executed. So there's such a thin line that you have to walk when you talk about things like this, because it could turn into something a lot nastier than what it was intended to. And that's usually what things happen. Like, our founding fathers never intended for our government to become like this. Just go look up on Google Thomas Jefferson's views on big government, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a clause in the Constitution that says that if our government becomes too big or corrupt or something, that we not only have the right to overthrow them and to install new leadership, but we have the responsibility to do so. And our government's getting to that point, but also now when you stop and look at it, there's no way that we could rise up as a people and overthrow our government. There's just no way that could ever happen. And our government has made it that way because they saw that clause and they go, eventually this is going to happen. Eventually people are going to rise up and they're going to want to overthrow us. So we need to make our government and our military and our power so absolute that there's no way they can do it. And that's the first step to a totalitarian state. It's scary to think about, because what's it going to be like after I'm dead? What's it going to be like with my grandkids? Are they going to live in a world where the Hunger Games are a reality? I mean, it's scary. It's really scary to think about. But what I wanted to basically say is always fight the Capitol. Never lay down for anyone, including government, especially government. Government is supposed to work for us, not the other way around. They're supposed to protect us and to do our bidding. They're our servants. We're not their servants, which is kind of what the country's turning into, is that we pay these people, we pay their salaries. The president is paid by our tax money, our money that we go out and work for, while he sits there and basically does whatever he's told. Because I highly doubt that the president has as much power as people believe him to have. I believe he's a figurehead. But it sounds goofy and it's kind of corny, but never stop fighting the Capitol. Never stop. Always question government. Never become complacent. Because the moment you do, that's when they'll take away everything you have, everything you love, everything you hold dear. That's when your life ends. Is when you stop looking when you start seeing government as, higher up on the food chain than us, which most Americans probably do. Most Americans probably look at government as being more powerful than us. That's not what government's supposed to be about. Go and read the Constitution. The government is supposed to be nothing. The government is supposed to be our lapdogs. We're not supposed to be afraid of government. We're not supposed to be afraid of the power they wield. We're not supposed to be afraid of the things that they can do to us and our family. They're supposed to be afraid of the things that we can do to them. Like, overthrowing them, destroying the infrastructure of them, or firing them, getting rid of them, putting new leadership in, But it's not that way. What it is we're afraid of our government. We are afraid of them, not the other way around, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. That was never the way America was intended to be. And it takes sometimes, sometimes it takes someone saying these things for people to remember that. Because people forget, especially in America. People forget. France doesn't forget. You know how good they treat their people? Like, everyone always makes fun of France, and so do I. I mean, I'll joke about French people or whatever. But you know how good they treat their people? And you know why? Because the people stood up against the government of France, and they revolted. They rebelled against them. And France did not forget that. And that's the problem with America, is we're so young, but at the same time, they've created such an impenetrable fortress of power that we could never rebel against America. I mean, it's ridiculous to even think about it. And so they're not afraid of us. You know what I mean? They think they have absolute power. And at a certain point, you got to stop and say, they kind of do have absolute power. And it's scary. It's really scary. All these people always talk about voting and stuff. Voting ain't gonna do nothing, you know what I mean? You get the next guy in, he's just gonna fuck it up as much as the guy before him. Plus, there's things in place that the president can't go in and do anything about. I mean, look at what he did. President Obama came in, everyone was just so happy that he became president. Black man in office. This is a huge step forward. And I'm not saying it's not historical. It most certainly is. But one of the first things he did in office was issue presidential pardons to the key members of the Bush administration who used torture as interrogation methods. This is not what I want in a president. I want a president who's not afraid to go up in there and be like, hey, you know what? You fucked up in your term. You're going to have to answer for it. You might even have to go to jail. But that's not how things went down, is it? Because the government has absolute power. We're not going to put a former president in jail. And it's ridiculous. It's stupid because they tortured people. They tortured innocent people. Not just terrorists that they had caught. They tortured innocent people. And it's ridiculous and as Americans, we've already forgotten. We don't even care anymore. We remember 9/11, but we don't remember that feeling of camaraderie, that feeling of us all being, part of the same global family. We don't remember that. We just remember 9/11, and now it's such a thing in the back of our heads that we can make jokes about 9/11, and some people get offended, but most don't. And the people that do get offended, they're only offended for 10 or 15 minutes, and they write their nasty comment on YouTube to the people who make a joke about 9/11, and then that's the extent of how pissed they are about it. So if I could give one piece of advice to everyone out there, it'd be never stop fighting the Capitol. Always fight the Capitol. If it costs you your life, I mean, look, that's what most people would probably be afraid of as far as standing up to government, is losing their life. And let me just point out that that's exactly what, thousands of men did in the Revolutionary War for what they believed in. And if you're not willing to shed a little blood, then you might as well just get ready. Just get ready for it. Just get ready to bow down to your masters, have them come into your house and, take whatever they want, or, interrogate you without trial, because it's coming. Maybe not in our lifetime, maybe not in our kids, maybe not even our grandkids' lifetime, but eventually it's going to come. Eventually, government is going to become so big and powerful that there's nothing we can do to stop them. Now, of course, that's when we'll try to stop them, but who knows how it'll turn out. It might turn out like in the Hunger Games, which is what I'm trying to get at. To show their superiority over us, they'll make our children fight to the death in a televised game show. And while our children are getting their throats cut out, we'll have to celebrate or they'll put bullets in our heads too. So there you go, guys. Hope I've sufficiently bummed you out today. I did not mean for this to be such a downer of a commentary, but like I said, I'm reading that book, and it frustrates me because I see so many parallels. You know, I don't see our government taking our children and killing them, but I see so many parallels between how powerful the Capitol is and how powerful the U.S. government is, and it's scary when you stop and think about, and you're reading like all these horrible things that the Capitol does to their people, and then you're looking at our government and how it is, and it's like, oh my god, dude, that's scary as hell. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. This castle is going to be fucking huge. Look at this. I'm not even halfway done, am I? No, I'm not even halfway across this yet. But that's going to end the episode. I'll finish up filling this in. This was more about the commentary than the gameplay. I hope you guys didn't think it was too outlandish or boring. I hope some of this stuff, you found interesting and whatnot. And I highly recommend go read the Constitution. Go read it. Just look it up on Google and read it. Read about Thomas Jefferson and what he thought about big government. Read about what our founding fathers wanted for us in a government. I think some of you might actually be pretty surprised at what, some of these guys said that we should do as far as our government goes and everything. So, but that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys aren't bored. If anyone made it all the way through this video, I'd appreciate a like or a comment or something. Let me know what you guys thought. And, another thing, if you're watching this, go check out my Grand Theft Auto. Me and Rezi did. It's a Grand Theft Auto video, random shit, in Grand Theft Auto 4. I actually worked kind of hard on it, did a lot of editing on it, and I appreciate let you guys, see what you guys think of it, and tell me if you might be interested in seeing more of that kind of thing, because we're really, I want to do more like comedy type stuff, not just these commentaries. I'd like to do like, comedy bits, make you guys laugh, whatever. Minecraft is always going to be here, so no one freak out. I'm always going to be doing Minecraft as long as the game is relevant, as I've said before, so until then, we will see you guys tomorrow with an all-new DSI. Bye!